don't have a favorite city, but I think somewhere by the beach in Thailand would be a pretty great place to be, I think. And I don't want to live there. So it's interesting to have your favorite place, but don't want to live there. So out of the people I can see here, if you have your favorite city and you would also really like to live there, can you raise your hand? You'd like to live in Perth? No, want to live. Sydney's pretty good. Rome.
I live there.
You do?
I did live there.
You did live in Sydney, but you left because it was too good.
Long story. Yeah, no, it was because of that, obviously.
Good. And I see we have Altafula.
It's a very small town close to the beach, on the beach, actually.
Oh, near Barcelona.
And I would love to live there, actually. Yes.
Okay.
I live in Barcelona and I love Barcelona.
You do.
But it's very nice.
Lovely. Great. So nice to see everyone. Thank you. I'm pretty excited to do this workshop because it's super fun and it's a really great tool for all of us to learn for our families and our jobs and for our self-care, our relationships with ourselves to be less stressed. Great. So we're going to start. I welcome everyone who doesn't have their camera on. Please, if you feel comfortable with that, we're going to be doing a small exercise where we're going to show the very favorite way that we greet one another. Well, most of us have traveled quite a bit. If we're into intercultural communication, we know how different people greet. So if someone in Belgium might, actually, Noah, do they kiss in Belgium twice or 3 times?
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
God, how do they have time for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the ones on the screen here, we're going to decide on the count of 3 how we like to greet. Is it kisses? Is it hugs? Is it high five? Is it shaking hands? Is it a polite nod? Maybe if you're from the colder northern place, is it a what's up if you're millennial like none of us except for Noah is? So if we're all ready for that, on the count of 3, we're going to go to the camera and we're going to give our favorite greeting. All right? 1, 2, 3. I got a hug. Perth's got a handshake. Venice has a smile. Amsterdam has a nice hug. Anyone did the namaste? Yeah. Venice has some kisses. Yeah. Papa has a nice respectful bow there. Perth, just a handshake, huh? And a kiss. Ooh, hello.
Well, I'm British, so, but I've lived in Madrid for so long, so.
You have a lot of mixes there, I guess.
Yeah.
Very nice. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
Danny has an interesting mix as well. She's Brazilian, doesn't look Brazilian at all, living in Barcelona. Yeah. Lovely. It's going to be so great to get so many different perspectives on the different cultures and the different ways we have to adapt. And it brings up a good question of who do we adapt to? When we are in a different culture, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? But when we all are different on one Zoom screen, whose cultural style wins? The one who's leading it? Do you have to adapt to my style? Or do I have to adapt to all your styles? It's a lot of work. Yeah, so these are just some of the questions I want us to think of, like who adapts and who has the responsibility as the communicator? Is it my job to make sure you understand, or do you have a role to make sure you understand me, to ask me to slow down, to ask me to type things? Is it a two-way street, or is it one person having to adapt all the time? Oh, I hear a dog. Very exciting. Good. Great. We are going to we're gonna start here. We're gonna start in a breakout room, and I want us to share as trainers. Some of us have a lot of experience in training. Some of us are students, and I want us to go into the breakout room. And what you're going to answer is, if you Googled me, training what I love, or if you Googled me, thriving, let's say, what would you see and hear? Yeah. So it's going to be a 2-minute breakout room. There's going to be 3 of you in the rooms, and the people who don't have videos on, you can participate only by voice. I assume you have a voice, you just have bad hair, And so you're most welcome to join in at whatever level you feel comfortable with. If you put on a bra, thank you. I appreciate the video participation, and I think it is nice to see all your faces. So thank you for that. Venice, do you have the...
I'm just checking out how many people we are. We're going to be breaking into groups of 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to be making about 7 breakout rooms. And what I would like to ask is, are we doing this for 2 minutes, for 4 minutes?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. You'll have 3 people or 2 people, depending on the non-video person, how they feel. And you're going to say, if you Googled me, doing what I love, you would see me wearing a nose. You would see me in the hospital. You would see me laughing with strangers. You would see me wearing really big shoes, bigger than normal. You would see me thriving, laughing, and being myself. Because the favorite thing in my entire life is being a hospital clown. So you share.
Okay,
yourself.
we're gonna break into the rooms then and get started. Yeah.
Okay. See you in 2 minutes.
Here we go.
Hi everyone. So hopefully we feel a little bit more, at least hopeful, or can see a little bit the direction that we want our futures to go to. Is anyone doing things that make them feel good quite often in their lives? Anyone? Yeah? Yeah? Good. Okay, we got about 50%. Yeah? Thank you. Oh, nice to see you, Port of Spain. I've never been there.
That's where I live.
That's where you live. Wow.
Yes.
Caribbean. Great. Thank you. Are you in the Caribbean IAF Association?
I am.
Because I attended your workshop and I thought, I want some of the Caribbean people to come.
We had a lot of fun.
We did, because people in the Caribbean, they put on reggaeton at the end of their workshops and they all dance and twerk together. And I was thinking that in our workshops, because it's a really nice way to relax and to just, I don't know, bond, I guess. Nice to see Paris here, and Sydney and Perth and Tehran. Wow. Lisboa. Good. Very nice. New York, really? Ooh. New York. Excellent.
What can I say?
You could say New York or hot dog. I don't know. Great. Now, I'm going to share my screen with everyone here, and I'm going to get you to focus for 1 second, because you have come here and you have given SIETAR an hour and, well, another hour and 20 minutes of your life. Thank you. That's incredible. You could be doing way more interesting things, probably, and yet you're here. And this is a super important topic. So I'd love us to take a second to think about why we are here. So what are we here to learn? What's one thing we hope to experience or learn? And for those of you registered, I wrote your names down because I am very happy that you are sharing your time with us and you care about communication and being less stressed and having people communicate better. So if you want, you can just type in the chat box, yeah, something you want to learn, okay? Adaptability intelligence would probably be a good answer, since that's what I'm promising, but maybe it's just to connect or to learn if I'm a good listener, or what emotional intelligence I'm missing. How can I stress less? These are the topics that we're going to be covering today. Great. Perfect. Thank you. Stress less. Yes, Barcelona, you will stress less. Do people in Barcelona stress? I thought we have the perfect lives, no?
Oh yeah, so did I.
So did you before you moved there.
Yes.
Good. Engage. Good. Tips to leverage my inner resources to face unprecedented situations during online situations. You are an A+ student. Excellent job, India. Good. Strategies to bridge divides in business and networking. Excellent. Thank you. Handshake, Perth. Awesome. Empathetic intercultural moments. Wow. Lovely. It's nice to be with my colleagues here. Oh, there's someone. Steve is joining us here. Now, I asked in the participation when you guys signed up, what are ways that you engage people in your workshops? And I got a lot of very interesting answers. And so this is the question. When we use adaptability intelligence, I am inviting you to think of a new way of how to get people into the topic, how to get people to participate. If people are looking at their phones, if people are eating bowls of cereal, if they're not listening, you're losing opportunities, right? And so I ask you, professionals, colleagues, people with much more experience than I, what do you do to get people to engage? And you answered. So excitingly, I'm going to share your answers with you here. So people who have a little bit less experience, I asked them, and these are some of the answers that we got. Maybe you can find your own answer on this listing. Involving their emotions, I thought was an interesting one. Yeah. Involve their emotions so that they feel like they're part of the process. Communication listening skills, of course. Engagement and active listening, of course. And how do we do these things? And what is the KSAS? Anyone can open their microphone and share with me what that is. KSAS.
It's knowledge, skills, attitudes. I don't know what the last S is about.
Good, plural. Excellent. Good. Skills and attitudes. Lovely. That's a nice little acronym there. Good. I empathize and I ask their opinion. Yeah. Very nice. And now I'm going to go to the next one because I asked the people with a little bit more experience to, whoops, I gotta erase my, how do you do that? I need to erase my, Noah, can you erase my drawings for me? Because,
Your drawings.
yeah, green things.
No, I can't. I don't have access to them.
You don't. Well, then I will find that. Oh, I got it. Undo. Look at me. I'm so smart. No, 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 no. Undo. Eraser. Okay, great. Not working. Anyway, there we go. Adapting. What is a way to get buy-in? Buy-in is an interesting word here. So how do you get people to pay attention to you? Okay, if you guys can annotate, it would be great. I would love you to circle or put a star or highlight these suggestions that you really want to try or ones that work for you really well. What, as a trainer, do you use to get people to answer questions, to fill in the polls, to listen, to share vulnerably, to actually try the exercises? On the board here, you can click at the very top when you can see a button that's called Annotate. Write the story of what we want to create, case studies, experience of others then, that can motivate people, I believe, pink pen, yeah? Active participation, great. Yes to the exercises, this at the bottom, get them to say yes to the exercises right away. Beautiful, this is what we are going to be doing today. Thank you very much for participating in that exercise there, because this is very valuable. Now, amongst us, we have people who have been trainers for more than 10 years, yeah? And I ask these people, hey, what is it that you do that I can learn from you? I just have one technique called Adaptability Intelligence. What do you do? What have you been doing for 10 years? And I'd love for us if we can circle the ones that really appeal to us. What are other people doing that we can incorporate into our trainer toolbox? Feel free to circle or put a star beside it or a happy face beside them. You can annotate, there's a button at the top there. Collaborative decision-making, games and icebreakers. Some people really enjoy the icebreakers. Co-develop agreements right at the start. Icebreakers, processes and discussions, a little bit vague, right? But we could look more into that. My own experience. It's interesting. Do we share about how we engage and invite them to participate? Games and icebreakers, games and icebreakers. Good. And when we do games and icebreakers, we create rapport, don't we? Thank you, Purple, who just highlighted that one. Yeah, and then we collaborate in the game. So there's a lot of value in play. Thank you very much for all the contributions here. I'm going to move on to the next slide. And perfect. Back to the mouse. So you can learn more about a person in 1 hour of play than in 1 year of conversation. Apparently Plato didn't really say it. I Googled it, but it just sounds so good. So unfortunately, I shouldn't have Plato there, but I think there's a lot of truth to that. I know a lot of people who are facilitators love to play, and they realize that when the neurons in the brain are connecting and firing with dopamine, people are more motivated. When they laugh, they're more motivated to participate. So we're going to be doing a lot of exercises where you're going to have fun. Sorry, if you're serious. Anyone from a more serious country here? Yes? Nah, great. So we're going to go into a breakout room right now, and we're gonna play a little bit. Not gonna play so much, because after this, you're gonna realize that this is the #1 skill needed to become an adaptive, less stressed out person who is able to read the participants. Noah, if you can type in the chat box there, the 5 questions you're going to ask the partner in the room. And Almendra, rooms of 2 people, please. 2 people for 3 minutes. And you're going to be asking each other where you're from, what you love doing, why you are attending the webinar, how long you've been training, and one thing this isolation, COVID, your new life has taught you. Yeah? There's some values questions in there, there's some fun in there, and there's some getting to create rapport questions in there. So we're gonna have 3 minutes, 2 people in a room, 5 questions. Can you do the math?
Yes, we've got, we're gonna have 10 rooms or 9, and we're gonna start right now.
And I warned you,
oh, wait.
You wanna listen very carefully, because later there's going to be a quiz, okay?
Okay.
So, ears open.
Okay, here we go. Safe travels.
Okay,
I'll go ahead and put
That was short. Sorry, Thailand.
Sorry, Tyler.
Oh, that was quick.
Were you able to both speak?
Yeah, we got to 4.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
That, huh? There's a song about that, I think. Great. If you have a piece of paper close to you right now, or you can write it on your chest if you're feeling hot, if you're in the Caribbean, or you're in the shower. I don't know, that sounded like shower noise. What you're going to do is write on a piece of paper. You're going to write down the one thing that you love to train people. Yeah? Maybe you just want to teach your kids to be polite and say thank you. Okay? So you love to teach manners. So we're going to write on a piece of paper the one thing, and in about 30 seconds, we're going to hold it up to the screen. And if you don't have a piece of paper with you, you're just going to type it into the chat box, or you can shout it out. Yeah? So something that I love teaching is, perfect music, like we're in an elevator. Lovely. Okay, so on the count of 3, we're gonna hold up what we love teaching to the screen and share with people what, ooh, lots of one, to adapt, really? You're in the perfect workshop, Madrid. Okay, can we read ours? And mine is self-compassion. What else do we have? Empathy, to adapt Madrid and its quirks. Intercultural competence, etiquette, ooh, manners, cyprocurrency, ooh, self-knowledge, history, presentation skills. Very nice. History, oh, it's backwards. Yisarusata his. Ooh, very good, Noah.
I thought it went backwards on the screen, so I would do it in advance anyway.
Very nice. And we have communication more than language. Mr. Perth, if you want now, instead of me calling you city names, you could put your first name in front of the name of your city. And then I will actually be able to find you on LinkedIn later, if that's more comfortable. Mrs. Turan. And I love Persian culture so much and wedding dances, so I would love to visit Tehran one day and would love to know if you live there. That's also interesting. So I'll put my name back to Jessica. Whoop, I spotlighted myself, which was the intention. And Jessica. Jessica loves Thailand. Whoever does have the music, you could turn it down a little bit if you want, or we could dance. I don't know. Those are the two of the options. Start twerking if you want to dance, and don't if you want to listen to me. Great. Oscar is coming into the room. We have another guest with us. There is something that is extremely important to adaptability intelligence. What is adapting? If I were more adaptable, what would that look like? You can just write down, I would sleep better. I would yell at my kids. I would have less wrinkles. Take a moment to imagine if you were more adaptable, if you had more adaptability intelligence, what would that look like? That noise is a little bit
Good question.
high pitched. Good. I would smile more. Oh my gosh, isn't that lovely, Shalaka? I would meet more people. I would be less stressed, Sunita. Be less demanding. Thank you, Annie. That's very honest. I would have a lot less anxiety and a lot more empathetic. True that. I would worry less, Dion. I would sleep better and be able to face humanity. Thank you. More courageous. I would be more open. So what is missing for us to be more adaptable? Like, what is stopping people from saying, okay, let me listen to what's going on. Let me adapt, let me flow, let me embrace the change. Why aren't we doing it more? You can type in your answer. It's kind of a therapy question, right? It's a humanity question. What's stopping us from flowing more in our lives? We feel comfortable with what we have now. Yeah, maybe it's like the comfort box, political climate, knowing all, afraid of being successful. Thank you, Almendra. We want what was before. There's a 4-letter word that often summarizes us humans. Fear. A lot of us are scared because we're just these creatures that can get hit by a car as soon as we walk on the street and can eat a little bit of bad mushrooms and die. And we can do some things and we can die pretty quickly. So there's a lot of fear of change. And so to become more flowing, more or less stressed, we really have to go, yes, and go towards the fear. And that is scary. And I applaud all of you for even trying to think of a future where people are less fearful. So thank you for being the leaders in a world that is a little more relaxed, a little less stressed, a little bit less racist, a little bit more open, a little bit happier. We're all making that possible by contributing today. Thank you. If I may, I'm going to share my screen now back to what emotional intelligence is. Yeah, I went to the Caribbean International Association of Facilitators 3-4 weeks ago, and they talked all about emotional intelligence. I invite all of you facilitators. We have a huge association like SIETAR, where we're just facilitators who share our ideas, and you can join any of them now around the world. So emotional intelligence is essentially you're adaptable and flexible. You recover from stress and you're resilient. Amazing. Who wouldn't want that, right? Components of emotional intelligence. Essentially, you know your emotions, you manage them, yeah, without ice cream. You motivate yourself, you recognize other people's emotions, and then you're able to manage the relationships. Sounds easy on paper. And Daniel Goleman is the one who made emotional intelligence quite popular. He has listed 12 domains or competencies of what emotional intelligence looks like. I'd love for you on that one piece of paper to jot down, to write down which you have. You're a superhero in coaching and mentoring. You're known for this. You're awesome at this. Teamwork. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to write it in the chat box, because after this workshop, we can all connect, because some of you might be amazing coaches and mentors, and I'm actually looking for a mentor. So maybe we can connect. And maybe I'm lacking a little bit in inspirational leadership. You know, maybe you wrote a book about that. So I want us to celebrate each other's superhero facilitator powers. And I welcome you to write down, hey, I empathize really well, and I am an organized woman, yeah? Or I am so adaptable, my God, Darwin's got nothing on me, yeah? Feel free to chat with one another and connect with other people who are on path with you. And now the bad news. If you don't have at least 6 of these skills, you are not emotionally intelligent, okay? So sometimes when we think about our bosses or colleagues we have, we go, God, they don't understand. What are they missing? You can actually pinpoint what people are missing and then build on those skills. All of these are learnable skills. We weren't born with any of these, possibly. Positive outlook. You just want to get out of there, right? Like that was the only skill you probably had, was survival. And so it's very exciting that everyone you know can improve in emotional intelligence. Would anyone disagree with that? I think I'm just throwing that out there because I'm an optimist. No, is anyone writing anything interesting here? I can't see the chat when I'm in slide share. I can't hear you, but I can try and read your lips. They are so interesting, these people, and so beautiful. They are writing the most interesting thing.
Self-awareness, empathy, emotional self-awareness, organizational skills, empathy, conflict management. Yeah, basically we have a quite complementary group over here.
Yeah. So together we are one very emotionally intelligent person.
Yeah, that's how you can see it, right?
Yeah. So if we continue, the exciting part of this for all of you trainers is what you love teaching. You can teach one of these emotional intelligence skills to get people to understand and love what you love, or do what you love better, right? And what skill do people need to learn what you love to teach? Maybe you need to be focusing a little bit more on like a precise Lego piece. Yeah. And what piece are you missing, possibly? Yeah. Me, I'm not so good at emotional self-awareness. No, I'm good at that. I am not good at conflict management. I've lived in Egypt, and I used to just yell when I didn't understand and when there was a culture misunderstanding. I was a younger woman back then, and I lived in India, and with the head shake, I just would scream sometimes because I was overwhelmed and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I didn't have that emotional intelligence. I don't recommend that, but slowly, I have a little bit more of that now. So it's good for us to recognize in ourselves what we need to work on. And the positive thing is that it's just a Lego piece in our toolkit. So, and today we will be working on adaptability. Yeah. Does anyone, by a raise of showing their hands, believe that adaptability is one of their superhero strengths? Almendra. Yeah, 2 hands. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Noah. You know what? I can't see all of you. Jamaica raised her hand. Ula did. Great. She's an improvisation facilitator. Yeah. So obviously she knows the skill quite well to be able to lead groups through improvisation. Thank you. Great. Now we're going to jump into different leadership styles. Very quickly, I want you to write down on the piece of paper what kind of a leader you think you are when you are training. Are you visionary? You articulate a mission and a long-term direction. You're participative. You generate ideas and you build commitment. You're coaching. You're more on the professional and career development. Or affiliative leader. I can't even pronounce it well. I'm probably not that one. Trust and harmony. Yeah? Which one of those 4 leadership styles do you have? And do you want to develop a little bit more of the other one so that you flow better with your team? There are also 2 types of leaders that might not be the best leadership style. Yeah? And you can be honest with yourself that sometimes you give commands. You tell people what to do. You don't engage people. You don't provide long-term. You don't try and create harmony or listen to people. And for those of you who understand high context and low context cultures, there are a lot of complications managing a team and engaging participants from different context cultures. And these topics will come up a lot. I was training a company from Sri Lanka in one of my workshops. And I said to them, hey, Mr. Engineer, how do you know when your team hasn't understood you? Because he said, we don't ask for feedback. And I said, yeah, so then how do you know when they didn't understand? And he says, 3 weeks later. And I said, oh, okay. If there was a possibility of engaging more, of adapting more, of flowing more, could you be more productive and efficient by getting feedback earlier? And it really was hard because it goes against the cultural norms of the boss is the boss. In that company culture there, you don't ask permission or feedback or collaboration from anyone that is lower than you. And so I encouraged this high level engineer, a 65-year-old guy who was very open-minded. Hey, what would happen if you asked, if you tried to collaborate a little bit more? So it's a really big discussion that we could have afterwards about, whoa, how to make different cultures collaborate. Make them collaborate. Wow, look at me. I'm a directive leader. Whoops. Does anyone have a question? No? No?
How do you deal with resistance for people that are not as open to these kinds of thinkings?
Yeah, are they the boss or are you the boss in these situations?
Usually they're the boss.
Usually they're the boss. Well, yeah. If anyone would like to contribute an answer to that, because if the management creates a culture, very hard, obviously, to influence them. Yeah. And be the change you wish to see in the world. Perhaps if your department is flowing well, if your department demonstrates a different kind and has different results, would a boss be influenced by that, Matt?
If there's a bottom line benefit.
Bottom line benefit.
The issue is trying to prove the bottom line benefit before the bottom line benefit presents itself. Convincing people of the vision when they want proof the vision's going to work first before they give you a chance. It's something I come across a lot. People wanting to believe in it, but they want proof it works first.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes
you
sense.
Also,
go ahead, Oscar.
Sorry for jumping in. You also need to take into account the cultural environment that typifies a work environment. It's always there, whether it's outspokenly there or not. You have to consider that. And when you meet with a bunch of people you have never seen before, these dynamics are at play. There are people in a position of power in the same group with people that are usually under them in the hierarchy of the company. and the whatever plays out at work in their daily work life is going to come out also within the training. And you, as an external trainer, you don't really know what this stuff is about. It has a long, long story.
Yeah.
Learned. That's great, because in SIETAR and with all of our different experiences, we could discuss this probably at a whole conference. Hence, we have conferences for these kind of topics.
Yeah.
And so I love that you brought that up, and I will lead it to the next point in the webinar, which is this adaptability intelligence is a mental attitude. It's like a skill that we can develop, and it's also, well, it's a method, it's an attitude, it's a way of viewing the world, it's a philosophy. And it's not so deep, it's not so emotional, it's not so Buddhist. And I'll introduce that to you. And then at the end, it would be interesting to hear if this is at all applicable in companies and how we train. Yeah? I'm going to go back to our slides here, if you permit me. Now, change happens when people change, right? There's no professional development without personal development. So if your bosses don't want to become a different kind of leader, well, okay, tough. It's very tough. So we're here because we want to influence people, and with our influence, perhaps we will shift the people around us. Now, adaptable intelligence is essentially how you flow, how you change, how you are able to face the reality and collaborate further in it. It's been talked about a little bit in the last 20 years, but not very much. Fast Company in the States has talked about it. They called it the new competitive advantage 20 years ago. And yet a lot of people aren't realizing it until kind of COVID, where our governments are either displaying good adaptability intelligence or less good, or they're not adapting exactly with direction and confidence and foresight. Most interesting thing, what Darwin said, is that the one who adapts survives. And 91% in this article of HR, higher HR departments, they mentioned that this will become the most important factor in hiring people. Because it's not your ability to have empathy, it's your ability to know when to have empathy and with whom to have empathy. So your ability to adapt is going to become post-COVID an extremely important skill that you have in your toolbox, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for a company. They will want to see your leadership abilities with confidence and with direction, and also with foresight, and also hindsight, the history of what happens when we make these decisions. So it's not improvising, it's planned skills of improvising with confidence. That makes sense. Now, I've created a little acronym. So to become more adaptable, we have 3 letters. What do you think the first step could be in becoming a more adaptable person?
Listening.
Oh my God, you're a bright little student there. Listener, thank you, Oscar. You're right. So we have listening, and all of us here that I can see on the screen here. And we're going to do a little test here. If you are a very good listener, you're going to point to both ears. Yeah. If you're a kind of good listener, you're going to point to one ear. And if you need a little bit of improvement, you're going to point to no ears. So on the count of 3, we're going to show each other what kind of a listener we are. Ready? No judgment. 3, 2, 1. 1. Matt's got 2. Latka has 2. Edrico has 1. Steve 1. Danny. Oh my gosh! Look at the honesty with Danny. She can't hear me because she's not listening. Danny, thank you. Do you want to share something about that, Danny?
No, it's just I'm so anxious, and that's why I want to learn more to be adaptable. That I think in the future. So I'm always thinking ahead. It's not because I don't want to listen; it's because I'm already thinking of what do I tell you just right after. But in fact, I was not thinking and not paying really attention to what you told me. So it's kind of a cycle that I got in.
Perfect.
for anxiety, and it's crazy. It's hard to live it.
Now, Danny, you are the perfect person to do this exercise with as an example.
Oh,
All
God.
of you, you're going to go in 1 minute into breakout rooms, and you're going to test this out with yourselves. Thank you, Danny, for that. Danny, we're going to do one word at a time as story or a sentence. Yeah, we did it yesterday. Danny and I were on a podcast. I was on her podcast yesterday about adaptability intelligence for leadership expats. Do you remember the game? Okay, so you can unmute yourself and we'll show everyone how it goes. Once
I
went
to
the
movies.
and
I
saw
my
dog
entering
the
place.
okay, not super interesting, right, folks? Okay, but you better be listening carefully, right? If you miss that, you might put a preposition when there should be a conjunction, and if you don't know what that means, some of us are English teachers here, so. So, Mendra, if you can put two of us in a room together, and you're just going to practice one word at a time, and feel how you feel when they say the wrong word. Huh, how dare they?
How many minutes do you want us to be together? 2? Dos. Okay, we're an even number at this moment, which means that I don't go into a room. So
why don't you go in a room and I'll stay out of a room so you can go.
We're actually an even number, so somebody has to stay. Somebody ought to not go into a room, basically. So, Danny, can I ask you to stay with me?
I can.
Okay,
Danny,
thank you.
okay.
Okay, so we're opening up. You've got 2 minutes to listen carefully and speak.
Time.
And safe travels.
Wow.
Wow. Was it fun? Stressful?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I had fun.
Yeah, interesting story.
Very interesting.
Good. So I'm going to share a whiteboard right now. So I'd love for you to annotate, or you can type how you feel after that exercise. Yeah, like, oh, when I hear people say something I don't like, sometimes I feel frustrated, or I enjoy that feeling. It's funny to collaborate. How right now I feel pretty happy. Yeah. Yeah. What does it feel like to not know what the next person is going to say? Leg. Laugh. Laughter. Light. Oh, this is like a guessing game. Letter by letter, I'm going to guess. Interesting. Got it. Happy, amused, connected. Interesting. Sure, it's fun to do it when it's just a game, right? But when it's a real high stakes conversation about racial inequality and the person says something that you don't like, not so fun and happy and interesting anymore, right? Maybe interesting. And so this mentality hopefully will translate into those difficult conversations that you have and your colleagues and your participants have, who you work with and who you care about. We're going to continue on into the A. What could the A in lab stand for? We have listen. The second step to being more adaptable could be, starts with
awareness.
Awareness could be. Anything else?
Action.
I didn't hear that.
Action.
Action. Not quite yet. Before action, we have to do something A-ish.
Accepting.
Accept. Oh, whoever said accept is the winner of the prize. Oh. Was that you, Steve?
That was me.
That was you. You win this marker. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you. Not very accepting of you. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Ooh. Now, what happens when we don't accept? There's an elephant in the room. There's some racial tensions here. There's someone who said something that we don't like. We have a couple of choices in life. We could A, throw out an idea. We could.
Reject it or.
Yeah.
Ignore.
Yeah. Ignore. Reject. There's more verbs, but essentially those are what they are. Yeah.
Minimize it.
Deny.
Deny, minimize.
So you are in denial of something.
Yeah. Yeah. What is you don't have to admit this, but when you go to Donuts Anonymous, okay, the first thing you have to say is, hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm addicted to donuts. Okay? You have to admit there is a problem. If you don't admit there is a problem, you cannot solve the problem because you don't see it, right? So accepting is a huge and very painful and very difficult part of this process. Accepting what we don't want, what we don't want to see, what we don't want to admit, right? 10 kilos too much, a racist comment, a rude thing that your partner did, you have to accept it and then be able to attack it with love or with fire, whatever your collaboration decision will be. So we're going to do a game here that is a little bit hard. It deals with rejection and it deals with not feeling accepted perhaps. And if you're brave enough, I really welcome you to try this game fully. What we're going to do is go into a breakout room with 2 people. A is going to pitch something, talk about something that they're passionate about or a business concept. It works best maybe with something that you want to pitch, literally. Like, hey, I'm a clown. You need a clown for your party. It would be really great for your kids. I bring cake. You're going to pitch for about 30 to 45 seconds. Partner B is going to respond to how they are engaging with your pitch by moving either closer to the camera to show interest, or they're going to move further away from the camera when you're losing them. Yeah? Important part of this is before you start, A, the clown, I call him Bob. Bob is going to explain who they're pitching to. B, Jose, is going to be imagining that they are that person. So I am the boss, and this is an idea that is being pitched to me. How would this person react to this story? What is engaging for people? What draws them in? What pushes them away? Are you doing that a lot in your life when you're talking and you're trying to train or sell or convince? Are you engaging people? Are you not noticing when they shift, when they look uncomfortable, when they bite their lip, when they move back? Are you aware of the micro movements and not so micro movements that people are doing when you're communicating? Yeah.
And are we doing this for 2 minutes or how long do we have?
We do this for 4 minutes.
4. Okay.
And if you finish before that, you can debrief about how it feels, or you can switch doing this.
Okay.
You feel okay? Everyone feel
So
okay?
just to clarify, we're pitching any idea or pitching being a clown?
No, sorry, that was mine.
Okay.
Mine, something I care about a lot, I'm going to pitch that. Because
Okay.
for the exercise to work, you can't just pitch broccoli, because it won't hit you a little bit. And this is an exercise where I want you to feel the pain. Not exactly, but I want you to be aware of micro movements and subtle shifts in energy that when you're a trainer, in real life, it's easy to get them because you feel it in your body. But when you're online, you really need to be watching, right? If Adriana's eyebrows go a little bit up when you say a certain word, or Oscar turns his head the other way, or Danny looks away, you're like, was it me? Is it me? Right? You have to be aware of the back and forth that's happening.
Okay.
Yes.
So can I ask a question? We are an uneven number of people now. We're at 15 people. Can I join in one of the sessions?
Please.
So we would be 3 basically in one of them?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And when I join into that room, it records. So who would be, so Jessica, can I join you, for example? And let's see what I got you with. And Beatriz, can I join both of you and can we record it? Bea, is that okay with you?
Wait, this is interesting. we're going to guess by her body language what she's saying right now, right? We saw her shoulders go up, and then she made a little bit of a smile that wasn't very encouraging, and then she
yes.
like this.
I was saying I don't feel very comfortable with the recording because my English is not so good.
Okay.
So I prefer not.
I can.
Well, thank you for not pressing unmute. That was a great learning experience for me as well.
We don't necessarily have to put that into the video though, so.
Okay then.
Okay, look at that. So persuasive, Almendra. Okay, we'll see you back in 4 minutes.
Okay, we're off. Safe travels.
Showing your authentic reaction to something.
Okay, I will show my reactions.
Okay, perfect. Actually, Almendra, do you want to try pitching and I'll observe?
Okay, so I'm going to pitch to my daughter.
So Beatrice, you are her daughter.
I'm going to pitch to you that even though I just pitch, I don't have to say what I'm pitching.
Yeah. Like, daughter, blah, 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 30, 40 seconds.
Okay, daughter, I know that you've worked really hard all of this school year and having the school end when it did and you've had to be at home. I know that we only have 2 weeks left. It's just 2 more weeks and we still have to do the different assignments that your teachers are teaching us, okay? So it's important that I know that you're tired about it. However, we still have to do it. And hopefully, I don't know, but hopefully your teachers will assign some fun things for us to do together so that it's worthwhile. And hopefully they'll also get some good meetings on Zoom for you and your friends so you can all see each other. But, you know, let's not start the day saying, no, no, no. Let's do it together. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Almendra, how was that for you? She wasn't a big mover. It was quite subtle. What did you feel there?
I noticed that I needed I was moving in at certain points to try to make myself more, you know, and I would verbally, because of her body language, I kept saying, okay, okay, because I was looking for her to like say okay or like do something with her body to show me that it would be okay. And I only kind of got that at the end. You were like,
I thought it was visible that I was like, oh my God, no, I can't more. I can't more. And that you were like, come on, only 2 weeks more. And then you will have it, but maybe it was not visible.
No, it was good. It was good. It was. So do we switch or?
Do you want to try it, Beatrice? As you wish. Sure.
Okay. So.
I'll watch. I'll let you do
it. What can I have no ideas at the moment. Okay, I have a chair. It's a very nice chair. It's really a design chair from Mexico, and I really want to sell you this chair. Yeah, it's really the name is Acapulco chair. It's a very special one. Okay, you really can lie on the chair and have a a caipirinha or something very refreshing. And it's of course it's a designer chair, so it's 300 euros, but it's original from Mexico. Okay, so it's really from there, yeah, and it's handmade. So what?
Time's up.
Oh, that was good. I was getting convinced. I really was.
Really? No.
I was in a way.
With the price?
The price was there, but I was sort of feeling the chair. We're into the name.
Okay.
Welcome back. Did you make a friend or an enemy, or did you get some insight?
Insights.
Is it interesting?
And right now, I just want us to maybe pay attention to Matt Bleakley's background here. If you don't mind, he has some interesting things in his background.
Oh, thank you.
So if you want, you can slide out of the picture, or you can stay there if you don't want us staring at you. We're going to pin video. Is that pinned for everyone? Or just me?
Just you.
Oh, just me. Okay, I'm looking at you. So if you wish, you can do that. But we're going to take about 30 seconds to memorize what's in the back of Matt's room, because we want to see if we're good listeners with our eyes. Yeah. Some of us admitted. Danny, maybe not so good. Yeah. And so you have about 25 more seconds. And then Danny, you're going to turn off your camera. And we're going to see what's back there. What color's the wall? What kind of chair? What kind of door? What's that red thing on his shelf? What are in those pictures? A little white shelf, white wall. 5 more seconds. And Matt.
Turn off my camera.
Please. Okay, let's hear it. What was in that room?
There were 2 pictures hanging on the wall. So
yeah, what colors were they?
They were like not dark colors, but I don't remember what color.
Okay. Steve, did you see something?
There was a red bag
on
the shelf.
Yeah. Shalaka, I'm putting you on the spot. What color was his shirt?
White.
A shade of white. Anyone else who wants to guess, remember what his color of his shirt was?
I would say grayish, kind of gray.
Grayish?
Greenish.
Greenish, greenish. Does he have glasses on?
He does have glasses on.
He does? Does he have longer hair, or does he have a shaved head?
It's shorter than in the picture.
Shorter.
Short hair.
Shorter.
Oh, shoot, there's a picture. I can't see the picture. You guys can see the picture. Okay, well, let's welcome back to the room, please. And we'll see what color shirt he has. Oh.
Wow.
Is that blue?
Sky blue.
Sky. With his accent, it sounds so much nicer. Right. We're going to move into the next part, which, what could the B stand for, folks? If we have a lab experience that helps us be more adaptable, the listening, accepting, and then
Balancing.
Balancing.
Bridging.
Bridging could be.
Behavior.
These are all very on target, yeah. Build. Yeah. So we need to collaborate now. Yeah. Lack doesn't sound as good as lab. So we chose lab and the build. And this comes from the world of improvisation. Yeah. Applied improvisation, taking the tools that those amazing actors take from stage and jazz and sports, the skill to adapt to the ball coming towards your head, the skill to play music together with people you've never played before, the ability to create a humorous sketch without any preparation. It's not magic. All these people who improvise, they are following the step. They're hearing the situation, they're accepting the reality, and they are choosing to collaborate to find a solution. Now, there are different ways that we can collaborate, okay? You might argue that the first one here does not get you very far. No does not lead to collaboration in general, right? And so you're going to do an experience now where you're going to have one person in the room suggest things. Let's go for some tapas. Let's go suntanning. Let's go to Madrid. Let's go to Canada. Don't, it's boring here. A is going to be offering, let's do something. B, you are going to be answering with either no, yes, yes but, or yes and. These are your 4 options. You're going to have a minute and a half, Almendra, 2 people in a room, and you're going to just keep offering, yes, let's, and the other person throw out the responses to the other person. And decide how it feels and which one feels most collaborative and which one feels like the one you do the most. And what's the difference between yes and yes but? these are your 3 kind of reflective questions in this exercise.
Okay, everybody ready? Safe travels.
So, folks, I'd love to hear your voices. What's the difference between yes and yes, but? It's been really nice getting to know you, Steve. I've loved going for walks in Lisbon with you. I love those little pastel eggs. And
Nata.
I've always wanted to have a tall looking Portuguese boyfriend, but,
It shuts it down. It negates, the but negates everything you said before, pretty much, because the focus is on the negative.
Yeah. Steve used to love my butt, and now the butt is negating everything before it, right? We all know that from breakups and from bad conversations and our mothers. You know, you're a great kid, but if you don't clean your room, you're not getting dinner. Like, do you really love me? I don't think so. Yeah, that's therapy. Anyway, so what is the difference between yes, but and yes, and?
It's the way you engage the person. If you want collaboration, that when you say the but, it's just, you know, the person just clicks off, I think, and will not collaborate. And the end, it kind of makes you collaborate, because then the person is kind of adding value or adding something to the conversation.
But
and is building up on something, whereas but is taking something away.
Can I interject something? Okay. It depends also on the cultural background of the person, because what we're talking about here is a way to communicate with strangers that we follow in most Western countries. As far as I know, and I don't have direct experience there, but in the Far East, it doesn't sound polite to say no. And so they will always say yes. And if we interpret that the way we would interpret that in Germany or in the UK, then we would be wrong, maybe. I'm just thinking out loud.
I see a lot of nods. I see Baba comes from a country. Is it Senegal, Baba? Papa? Excuse me.
Yes, it's Senegal. Yes, he's right. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
intercultural learning, intercultural understanding, communication. Yeah, sure. Right.
And I see we have someone from Tehran. She's Sepede. Wow, what a name.
Yes.
Sepede?
Yes, I totally agree. I think it's well, I lived most of my life in the UK, but I lived in Iran for a few years as well, and I know that there it would be a lot more acceptable to say yes. And currently I live in Dubai, so I'm still in Middle East. So I think even here it's more of a say yes, but it's okay not to do it. And they actually, in Arabic, we don't speak Arabic in Tehran, but they in Arabic they have this word that has got a very bad reputation now. It's called inshallah. That means if God willing. If it happens, it was supposed to be a very positive meaning, but it has a very bad reputation as when they want to say okay, but they don't want to do something. This is when they use inshallah, which is a very wrong interpretation in terms of the meaning of the word, but it has a bad reputation. So yes, it's definitely, I agree with what our friend said earlier.
Yeah, I love this, and this could be such a wonderful conversation. It could be another webinar, and I would love to do that, Alendra, and it would be a really collaborative webinar about the different cultures and what inshallah means, what, I don't know Indonesia very well, Enrico. I'm not quite sure if yes is yes or no, you know, there's 157 countries in the world. Would you like to?
Well, yeah, in Indonesians, people don't, are not used to like say disagreements that well. And actually, you can find the same cases in Indonesia too. Sometimes people want to say, yeah, will you come tomorrow? Okay, inshallah. Yeah, inshallah, I will come. But sadly, that's not what happens. Yeah. Inshallah, I will come. they will not come.
So perhaps yes, but is inshallah in some countries. Yeah?
Could be, yeah.
They're putting God and but together. Oh God, I don't know if that's a bad combination, right?
I know, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, my gosh. We have just a couple minutes left, so this is a huge topic, and I appreciate that all of you have contributed. I've tried to engage all of you here. Thank you for coming, Nikki. You're most welcome. You're going to see the very last game, and this is the epitome of it. You're going to see what happens when we do use yes and we practice it in a fun way, because the more you practice in a fun way, you're building the blocks of when you have a real bad situation and you need to learn how to collaborate with something you don't want to do. Because you've practiced it in a fun way, you have the skill now. So that's why I'm not making this about racial inequality in America right now, okay? I'm doing it about fun things, about what you like, about what brings you smiles, because then you're motivated to come back to the webinar, you're motivated to practice these skills. If it was about racial inequality, it would be exhausting, it would be tiring, you might get depressed, you might eat too many cookies. You know, like, we have to practice the skills with motivative topics, and then when the real poo-poo hits the fan, then you're prepared for it with these life skills that you've developed, these emotional intelligence skills.
Okay. How many people in the groups?
We're going to do 3 people in the group. We're going to do a yes and story. Quite simply, yes and.
Oh, sorry. No, I do have to leave. So just add that into the calculation. Thanks, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks. We're going to finish in 5 minutes here. What we're going to continue is 3 people are going to be in the room, or 2 people, whatever will happen. What we're going to do is yes and. If I offer to Matt, Matt's camera, his microphone is on. So Matt, I say, there was a boy who went to Vietnam. You add yes and any sentence in the entire world.
Yes, and he bought a bicycle.
And he brought a bicycle. Yes, and he rode it to the border and talked to the border control guy.
Yes, and he remembered that he had left his passport at the hotel.
Yes, and he remembered that he had a shiny $100 bill in his pocket, and he kind of flashed it at the border control guy.
Yes, and the border control guy was very happy to be able to take his money.
Yes, and put him in jail for attempted bribery. Ba-bum-bum. Good. Good. Yeah?
Yep.
Just a fun experience called Yes And. Teams that practice yes and conversations before meetings have more collaborative meetings and have more brainstorming potential and a lighter energy when they start talking about the bigger things. So you can do this for 1 minute and it changes the energy in a room. It literally, there's something about saying yes and that lights us up as the playful little children that we are inside of these big old bodies, right? So I invite you for the next 2 minutes to go into your rooms and yes and each other into a story. And when you come back, we're going to close up and you tell us what happened in the story.
Okay, off you go.
Short and sweet. Lovely.
Lovely. Nikki came for the funnest part.
Sorry.
Yeah. I see smiles. Yeah. The difference between yes and yes. Anyone have a feel for that answer now?
Yeah, it gets the conversation going, I would say.
Yeah, Sepia?
I find it also means that the way you think is more positive. You're looking at solutions, not problems.
Yeah. If I can add something here, a couple of years ago in the Netherlands, I am in the north of the Netherlands, we actually had in education, they had a whole stream of training sessions for teachers to teach them to, instead of saying yes but, to say yes and.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all given these wonderful training courses that went on for days and days. And they were really fun. It was also led by 2 sort of acting trainers. So yeah, and now people keep saying, oh, remember when, yes and. So it did work. Yeah,
it's a little shift, and it works. Yeah, you might have to chase your kids more, because when your kids say, hey, catch me, you can't say no anymore. You say yes and for 2 minutes only. Yeah. But it changes the energy, I swear. My kids love me more than they love their own mom. Not my kids. Ooh. My nieces love me more than they love their mom. Right? Because I'm yes and to them all the time, and I'm not, doing any of the discipline stuff. So it's an energy of fun and collaboration and hope and dreams, and nothing came from saying but or no, right? And yes and does not mean you agree with the person. And there are times when you have to say no, for sure. It's not about like this philosophy of Yes Man, the movie with Jim Carrey, where you end up tattooed and pregnant, right? This is not what it's about. It's about yes and if you want to collaborate with that person. If you don't, it's a Tinder guy and you're like, no, done. But maybe yes and if you shade off that beard and right, stop sending me those kind of pictures. Maybe, there's a lot of possibility with and it's not agreeing with the person, and it's not going to solve the world's problems, but it is a nice little acronym, listen, accept, and build, that you can try and remember when you are in a difficult situation and you want to solve the problem in a win-win situation. If you listen to it, you accept it, you don't repress it or deny it, and then you find ways to find a solution. This will make you more adaptable, less stressed out, and more reasonable and enjoyable to be around.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica, for guiding us through the webinar today. I'd just like to point out that this is a webinar offered by SIETAR España. Again, this is part of our free series of webinars to promote intercultural training. And we'd like to be able to offer one each month. And so I will be sending all of you a follow-up email to get feedback on your perception and your experience of today's webinar, and to also provide you with a link, which I've pasted into the chat room as well, in case you feel like you would like to offer one of these webinars for us, through us. It's a very wonderful process for me, for Noah, who helps me to run these. We get to know you, we get to help you with your webinar, and we hope to really promote intercultural training as much as we possibly can. So for all of you that have attended today, thank you very much. You'll be getting a follow-up email. And Jessica, I turn it back over to you to send us off today.
Great, everyone. Great webinar. I've appreciated it. Thank you from Papa. And thank you for staying. I know it was a long time. To the people who left earlier, that was great too. It's great to have a perfectly 12 people screen at the end. I feel like, hey, we're pretty awesome. You're welcome, Beatrice. And we will see each other again. If you join SIETAR, we have coffee meetups every 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. And if you're in Barcelona, I would love to. Danny and I are in Barcelona.
Yeah, we're having that coffee.
Not jealous at all.
We're having a coffee next week.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.